bookish friends. I hope you are well. I had another little break from filming. It's been a bit of an odd month. I've been in a little bit of a slump, I guess. I haven't read as much as I would normally read, but I have still read quite a bit. So it's a slump for me, but I have still managed to read, if that makes sense. I'm gonna combine my May TBR and my April wrap up in this video, just because I didn't have a chance to film last week and I just want to do them both at the same time. Why not? So I think I'm gonna start by picking my May TBR from my TBR jar that I have here. Get those books and then I'll take you through the books that I managed to read in April. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, let's get picking for our May TBR. You've probably noticed that I'm in a slightly different spot than where I normally am. I'm actually commandeering my 12-year-old's room. So these are her bookshelves. Lovely Eddie Munson poster there. But yeah, that's where I am today. So let's get picking. I normally always pick 8. Last month I picked 8 and it didn't go well. It didn't go well. But having said that, I am going to pick 8 again because I love picking 8. It's just a good, nice, solid round number. And most of the other months I've actually done quite well out of those 8. Last month was just obviously being in a bit of the slump. I just didn't want to pick up the books that were on my TBR and I just kind of ended up mood reading. But obviously we'll get into that after. So I'm going to pick 8. So let's pick the books and then we'll grab them after. So see what we have. We have Moon Dial. I don't know if you can see that. That is one of my daughter's books that she didn't want and I kept because I felt like reading it. So that's what that one is. Oh, The Mirror Man. The Mirror Man, that's a thriller. Put that one after. Okay, this is number 3. Go the Distance. Go the Distance. That is one of the Disney Twisted Tales. I think that's the Hercules one. Okay, pick number 4. Oh, if I can get it open. Texas Ranger. Texas Ranger. That is a James Patterson. Of course it's a James Patterson. We can't have a TBR without a James Patterson. So that's 4. This is 5. Oh, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabriella Zevin? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'll have to double check her name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is pick number 6. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I've been intrigued to get to that one. Every time I pick, I forget what number I'm on. This is how 7. Foggy my brain is. 7, thank you. This is pick number 7. Siege. That's Simon Koenig. And the final pick, this one. What have we got? Hide and Seek. Hide and Seek. That's another James Patterson. We've got 2 James Pattersons on this one. So that's all the picks. I'm gonna go get the books, and then when I come back we'll quickly go through those, and then I will go through my April TBR. Right, I have the books. Let's quickly go through our stack for May. So we have Moondial by Helen Cresswell. This is the one, this is obviously middle grade. It's witchy, it's got ghosts. Sign me up. Love it. Interested to read that one. No idea what it's about. Then we got Texas Ranger by James Patterson. This is the first one in a series, I believe. He has one shot to clear his name. This is James Patterson and Andrew Burrell. So one of his joint ventures. And then the other James Patterson we got is Hide and Seek. So this is one of those old mass market paperbacks, I think they call them. Look how tiny the writing is. But we know I love James Patterson, and they are always fast paced, so all good. Then we got Go the Distance, which is one of the Disney Twisted Tales. This is the Hercules retelling. It says, what if Meg had to become a Greek goddess? And this one is by Jen Kalonita. And again, this one is, it looks nice and relatively short, this one actually. Some of the other ones of these have been proper chonkers. But this one, are you laughing at my term? Chonker. This one looks okay. Then we got The Mirror Man by Lars Kepler. If you see his reflection, it's already too late. This sounds like a nice, fast-paced. Oh gosh, the writing's small. Why is the writing so small in all of these books? Fast-paced. It's got on the back, thrilling, ferocious, and chilling. Sign me up. Then we got Powerless by Lauren Roberts. As I know, most of booktubers probably already read this book, and I am a little bit late to the party. Again, such small writing. Okay, I'm interested to see if I enjoy this one. I'm still quite new into the fantasy genre. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, I'm interested to see if I like this one. If I do, then I'll probably pick up the new novella that's just come out, and then continue on, because I know the next book in the series is also due out in the next few months. So I'll be interested to see that. Then we have Siege by Simon Koenig. Who Will Survive? This looks like some kind of siege in a hotel. I like Simon Koenig's writing. I've read one or two of his books before and quite enjoyed them. They're quite fast paced, so I've had this on my TBR for quite a long time, so I'm looking forward to getting through this and getting it off, although it is a bit long, but hopefully we'll get through that nice and quick. And then lastly, it's Gabrielle Zevin, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This is another one that my daughter bought and could not get into, so she gave it to me. Obviously, I've heard quite mixed reviews on this. I know that some people absolutely loved it, and it was like a top book of 2023. And then other people have found it extremely boring. So I'm intrigued to see which group I fall into. So that is our little stack, our TBR stack for May. Obviously, on top of that, I also read ebooks on my phone from the Kindle app, and I also do my audiobooks from BorrowBox. So I've got a couple of different books that I've already borrowed from the library, and that I've got lined up to read on my Kindle for the month. So we'll just see what I get through. I'm hoping I'm going to have a better month than last month. as I said, it was a bit of a tough one. So quickly I'll take you through the 2 physical books that I managed to read in April. These were 2 off of my TBR that I picked last month. As I said, I picked 8 as usual, but these were the only 2 that I actually managed to get to. So the first one is Case Sensitive by A.K. Turner, and this is book number 3 in the Cassie Raven series. So this brings me fully up to date with the series. I like this one. It's set in Camden in London, not far from where I live. Cassie Raven is a mortuary assistant. She works with the dead. She is alternative, she's goth, and she kind of has this ability where she connects with the dead that come through her mortuary, and she's able to help them, and she can kind of hear them, and she solves their murders and what's happened to them and stuff like that. The first 2 books in the series I really enjoyed. This one was good, but it wasn't as good as the first 2. And I ended up giving this one a 3.5. It's quite a short book, and they're normally really quick reads, but it took me a while to get through it, and I don't know whether that was because of the slump that I was in or whether it was the story. But I would recommend the series as a whole, and I'm hoping that she does bring out a few more, because I like the characters in it and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. And then the other physical book that I read is by one of my favourite authors, Ali McNamara, and this one was called Cornish Clouds and Silver Lining Skies. I just finished this one today actually, and it was a lovely little story, all about the weather, set on a little island in Cornwall. Lovely writing, lovely characters, nice little magical element, 4 stars. I love it. Can't go wrong with Ali McNamara. She's absolutely fantastic. So those were the 2 physical books that I did manage to get through. I then read 3 I listened to 3 audiobooks for the month of April. So the first one was actually my only 5-star read for the month, and that was The Institution by Helen Fields. I'll pop it up here. Phenomenal. This woman blows me away every time I read her books. They are gripping, heart-wrenching, infuriating, disgusting. Every emotion you feel when you read her books. They're just phenomenal. And I really like the characters in this book. They're the same characters from one of her previous books that I read just the month before, The Shadow Man. It's the same characters from that. Dr. Connie Walwine, her name is, and she has this condition where she can't see colour. She can only see in like kind of black and greys, and like it's very, I've never heard of it before. But she had an accident, so she could see in colour before. She had an accident, and obviously this is the way it affected her when she was younger, and she's learned to live with it. But it just kind of gives her a little bit of an edge when she's dealing with people and she's seeing things. And great character. It's called The Institution. They go undercover in a mental hospital. Absolutely phenomenal. Check trigger warnings though, because like I said, pretty heavy. But that was my only 5-star read of the month. Thoroughly enjoyed that one and would highly recommend. Then I listened to The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I was really excited for this book. I loved the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I just thought that series got better and better. The 3rd one was my absolute favourite. The Reappearance of Rachel Price, we follow Belle. Her mum went missing when she was 2 years old. She is now 18. Her family have decided to take part in like a true crime documentary with a British film crew, And lo and behold, when they start filming, not long after, Rachel reappears. She's been gone for 16 years, reappears. I really enjoyed this one. It was slow to begin with. It took me a little while to get into it. The character Belle got on my nerves. She grated on me so much, and I don't know why. But she grew on me a bit towards the end. It was clever. It was gripping. Holly Jackson is phenomenal at what she does. It didn't give me a 5-star feeling. I did give it a 4.5, and I would highly recommend it. Yeah, and I felt like this one was, even though it's still YA, it felt a little bit darker than the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, and I don't like, but only slightly. But it was really good, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed listening to the audiobook of that. And then the final audiobook that I listened to for the month and that I just finished was One Step Too Far by Lisa Gardner. This is book number 2 in the Frankie Elkin series. I gave this one 4.25 stars. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it just a little bit more than the first book. I'm really starting to like the main character, Frankie Elkin. She is an everyday average woman, and she goes from town to town. She travels a lot. She's what you'd call a drifter. And what she does is she finds missing people. That's what she's dedicated her life to. That's what she does. She'll come in, long after the police and the media and everything, everyone's given up, and she comes, and she will not give up until she finds out what's happened to them, or she's able to bring them home. And this one was gripping. It had me on the edge of my seat. There were some really heart-wrenching moments in it, really moving, great characters, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reading or listening to the third one. So those are my 3 audiobooks for the month. And then the rest of the month, I mostly read on my phone, on the Kindle app. So I read 5 ebooks. The first one I read was Let Me In by Claire McGowan. This one was good. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't too long. It was an interesting story, a little bit creepy in places. But I read that right at the beginning of the month, and I cannot remember any of the characters' names, but I just remember it was good. I would recommend it. Then I read The Cottage by Lisa Stone. It was an interesting premise, but I read all of it, but I didn't really enjoy this one. It was very predictable. I knew where it was going. It made me feel a little bit and I just found myself a little bit bored in places. So I only gave this one a 2-star. But it was an easy read. So if you're looking for an easy read and a bit of a filler, you might love it. Some people might absolutely love it. I did see some really great reviews for it on Goodreads. But obviously that's the beauty of reading. We all have our own different thoughts and feelings, which we're entitled to. Then I finished off the Folk of the Air trilogy by Holly Black, and I read The Queen of Nothing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the series overall. I'm pretty sure I gave this one 3 stars. I think I feel like I either gave all of them 3 stars, or I may have given the second one 3.5. It's a good story. I actually didn't mind the kind of how politic heavy it was, or politically heavy it was in the end. I quite ended up enjoying that. I didn't think I would, but I did. And I did like all of the characters, and the world building was good. But it was just, I don't know, it just didn't blow me away, it didn't wow me. And it just felt, the third book and the way everything kind of happened, and it just didn't feel realistic at all. And I was just like, what happened now? Like, I was just so, where are we going with this? So yeah, not for me personally. I'm glad that I've read it, and I had an okay time, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to necessarily like, oh, I need to read the next, because I know they've continued, or she's done like some duologies in that world, or more stories in that world. I don't need to go out and rush and read them all. If I get to them, I do, great. If I don't, I don't. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Then I read The Little Board Game Cafe by Jennifer Page. Again, this one was okay. Took me a little longer than normal to get through it. It wasn't actually too long a book, but again, I think it was just the slump that was making it difficult for me to actually pick the books up. And once I was in them, I was fine, but it was actually picking them up. I had a crazy busy month again at work, so I think it was just combination. But I enjoyed that one. That one was quite good, and I gave that one 3 stars. And then the final ebook that I read was The Forgetting by Hannah Beckerman, and I gave this one 4 stars. This one was really good. I enjoyed this one. It was a really cool premise. It made me kind of, you know, a little bit like, oh my gosh, could you actually imagine if that happened? It was like one of those moments. And I saw the twist coming. I did guess it, but it didn't make it any less enjoyable. So I gave that one 4 stars as well. So I didn't have too bad of a reading month, considering I was in a bit of a slump. But fingers crossed with my little TBR stack for May, and hopefully if I just continue to do a bit more mood reading, then hopefully I'll have a much better month. Let me know what your favourite book of the month was. Let me know what your reading plans are for May. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. I'm very grateful for you being here. And look out for whatever comes next.